I'm glad you are here. Me and Danny will do everything to do the best job tonight. So, yeah, I hope you will be satisfied and we will also answer to your questions. So, what we will talk about tonight, Danny?
We're gonna channel Paimon, and it's gonna be cool.
Yeah, we're gonna channel Paimon a lot tonight. So, can you tell us how you started working with Paimon?
Yeah. Um. So, first, I'd like sort of barely survived a rough period in my life, and then Azazel came, and out of nowhere, I didn't summon him or anything like that. Um. And he just kind of got on my ass about some things. Um. And just like was like, okay, it's time to basically start doing this. Um. So the next one that well, Agaris came, and then Agaris was just kind of like something that they kind of made me do as like a beginner step. And then when I like the second or third time I summoned Agaris, Paimon came instead. And Paimon, when he came, he gave me a name in Arabic. Um, I had to look it up and I had to translate it. And so I found out that that was like a name, like a magical name, I guess, for me. I'm not going to say what the name was, but yeah. And actually, this is how I met Dimitri. I never would have met Dimitri probably if it wasn't for Paimon, because I was looking for someone to help me figure out like some of the messages I was getting, and like it was just, I don't know. I didn't want to assume I knew what everything meant because it was in Arabic, and so I found Dimitri's channel, and he's got great stuff about Paimon. So, but yeah, Paimon's cool. He can get angry sometimes too, though, like over things. I don't know. I see when him and Azazel get angry. I see flies. But he's cool, and he makes fun of me sometimes, but he's always been pretty nice to me and helpful towards me, and so
Okay. So I just want to explain how my journey with Paimon started, guys, and then we will explain to you, how we'll channel in this stream and everything, how we'll answer questions. So my work with Paimon started technically with my suicide attempt. Paimon is the first spirit which I started seriously working with. When he approached me, I didn't know what the magic is, what the spirits are, what anything of that is. He just came to me as a burning figure made out of fire, made out of flames, and he told me not to kill myself. And then later on, as I started summoning spirits of the geisha one by one, I figured out that the spirit who told me not to kill myself was Paimon. So that was actually my introduction to Paimon, and he was one of the few spirits from my first few occult years which still remained around me. He was the most trustworthy spirit through all of the 8 years of my occult experience, together with Lilith. A really trustworthy, really powerful, really beneficial. So that's my short story on how I met King Paimon. So essentially, Custard of the Dragon. Hello, good to see you. Solemn Sun says a good day. Good day, Solemn Sun. Mario 2502K there from France. Thank you, Mario. Custard of the Dragon asks, what should I do to contact with Maritz and Ifrits? So it kind of depends. You are not asking generally personal questions, so super chat isn't necessary. This is like a general question. My advice for you, how should you contact Maritz, is work with King Paimon. to open up astral senses, and then after you open up astral senses enough so you can talk to him, my advice is you should pretty much call King Paimon to open up your gateway to the marriage, and he will himself introduce you to some. Uh, that's pretty much what I would advise. I wouldn't advise approaching marriage or Ifrit directly without Paimon's intermediumship. Alia says wonderful stories. Thank you, Alia, for watching us. So yeah, ask some more questions in the chat. I'll pretty much appreciate it. So, can you in general say, Danny, how Paimon interacts with people?
He's very easy to communicate with. He understands human expressions and nuance really well. He has a really great sense of humor. Um, he's quite delightful a lot of the time, actually, for as far as like interacting with him.
And like how his energy feels, how that interaction usually goes.
His energy is sort of like I mean, it's a fiery energy. Um, I'm not saying his energy always comes across the same, but when I was working with him, it was I don't know, it was a fiery energy, but he didn't come on too overwhelming. When working with Paimon, you do get a lot of like strange manifestations and sort of like almost poltergeisty type of activity. I've heard like all kinds of weird noises. I've heard babies crying, um, and just like his familiars talking and making crazy sounds.
Yeah, and shit getting on fire, how can you forget that? When we were like in hotel room, locked on our own, like shit got on fire like 6 times in 5 days. It was ridiculous.
Yeah,
And the
and then the
entire room was
car caught on fire when I was on my way back to the airport. That was
yeah, yeah. It was crazy. It was really crazy, man. It was really ridiculous. So, okay. Custard of the
but I want to
Dragon.
say I want to add one more thing because we've actually been working with Paimon. So um, I want to say that Paimon's really he's very level-headed. He's very good at making um, logical decisions. He's really really good for business and cutting through bullshit. You know, just like getting to the point, like what needs to be done. Like let's be rational about this. Let's negotiate. Um, yeah, he's great for that.
What signs could Paimon give? So, what is your opinion about this question? Then a Custard of the Dragon asked.
So he'll give signs that are not subtle. You'll recognize them. If
Yeah,
he gives you a sign, you'll know it. He's very flamboyant.
yes, he is really flamboyant. One of the most common signs he gives is a heavy heat in the room and the pleasant smell, the pleasant odor. He is usually not followed by unpleasant smells, and he is followed by heavy heat, and you usually hear music or feel strong pressure in the room. So heat, strong pressure in the room, pleasant smells, and you see his sigil everywhere. So those are some of his signs. Okay, guys, ask more questions here in the chat and smash the like button. So because every like button helps us to kind of get more views and be more noticed and everything.
Yeah.
What about the seal of the gel? So the seal of the gel is essentially not featured in the live stream. I don't have something to show it right now, but it's a seal, indeed, which you essentially draw, then you call King Paimon, and then you anoint the seal with blood and burn it in order to get infused with the smokeless fire of the jinn and become more attuned to them. So that is essentially seal of the Jal. Andrew Williamson, good day everyone. How do you find he interacts with others in your spiritual court? Paimon is really diplomatic. He can interact with almost everyone. He is really not problematic spirit in regard to working with spirits. Dimitri, you look more refreshed today. Yeah, thank you guys. Uh, hey, how is King Paimon connected with the Jinn? Jinn are essentially fire spirits, and King Paimon is heavily connected to fire. He has a heavy connection to fire. So yeah, guys, if you could smash the like button, it would be really nice. What if I draw it in my hand with a blade? I mean, it can help in connection with him, but my advice is raise the sacred space and then call him using chants. You don't need to spill enormous amounts of blood. Paimon doesn't require such a ridiculous offering. He is usually satisfied with wine and some candles. Can the jinn shapeshift? Yes, they can shapeshift their astral form into almost anything. So I agree with that. King Paimon himself is not a jinn, though. Uh, I think he is a jinn. I think just our definition of a jinn in the Western world kind of heavily reductionist. He is definitely partially jinnic spirit, and he has attributes of the jinn. So I would say that he is partially jinnic and corresponds to that. Yeah, guys, ask more questions. We will gladly reply. What could the married primarily help with? So the married can primarily help with working with really powerful dark energy, physical strength, astral senses, baneful magic, and everything like that. Actually, marrieds are really versatile. It depends on which married we are talking about. So, Danny, can you like talk more about your Paimon experiences?
Um, I don't know. It's hard. It's like there's some stories, so they're kind of personal in a way. Um, let's see. Oh, well, yeah, they're kind of personal. I don't know. Should I
Yeah, say.
tell? Okay. So, um, so like I said, Paimon was kind of instrumental in me and Dimitri getting together. Um, so he Paimon came first, and then that's when I found Dimitri's channel, and then I sort of like I didn't know Dimitri. I hadn't talked to him yet, but I kind of had a crush on him. Um, but I was like, oh yeah, like I'm too whatever, like I'm too old, I'm too what, and and then Paimon stopped me and he said about you, he said he likes intelligent women, so he kind of was always kind of encouraging me to pursue you.
Okay, okay, okay. So I will answer some of the questions. Let's answer some of the questions in the chat. And what about Ifrit? So, yeah, Paimon is a heavily connected to Ifrits as well. But I said earlier that if you want to work with some of the Jin races, simply call Paimon, develop astral senses, and then use Paimon as a mediator.
Hmm.
Okay.
Also, working with Paimon will attract other genic races to you, even those that aren't that they have don't that he doesn't have alliances with. But just that working with that genic energy will attract a lot of different jinn to you. So it'll really open the door for the jinn just working with him. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would agree. What kind of energies Ifrits have? Any description? So, in my opinion, Ifrits have energy which is like dark orange fire, a really fierce, really painful, really wrathful, but effective in matters of magical results. They are like a careful and dangerous fire which inhabits nature. That's how I kind of see them. I agree, it always feels intimate. Yes, it always feels intimate. Alia, thank you. Good evening. I paid $10 via PayPal. Can you ask King Paimon if he'll work with me on developing psychic senses? What offerings would he like from me? Thank you. Okay, we will answer your personal question, Lana Authority. Yeah. So let us chattel together. Okay. So he will work with you, Lana, in development of your psychic senses, and he wants an offering of wine and 2 candles. You should raise the sacred space and call him for about 40 minutes every day. If you feel overwhelmed one day, one time in 7 days, you should just like stop working. So you should work with him for 6 days, 40 minutes a day, and then on day 7, you should stop, and like that every week. You should give him as an offering 2 red candles and a glass of wine. And at the end of 7 months, you should give him like a golden sigil as a sacrifice. And then you should wear that golden sigil as a talisman. That's also what I got, Lana. So, kind of really practical instructions. If you need me to clarify more, I will, Lana, no problem. Paimon, the best wingman. Yes, he is really good in communication between people. I just want to tell you that he's like not really the perfect spirit for romantic relationships, but he is really good for business and artistic partnerships, which is kind of what me and Danny are. So he's like excellent for that. He is excellent to find your companions and friends. He is really good for that. Okay. Ave, that's so sweet. Yeah, Ellie, Alia, that's sweet. Which ancient civilization took Paimon as one of their primary gods? There was his first connection with humanity. Okay? So, as. Okay, I'll ask him now. So, he says that his first really prominent civilization in this cycle was Akkad. So, it was the first, and then other Middle Eastern civilizations came next, among them Elamites. So Akkad and the Elamites, those first two. Okay. Very true. Paimon is the great, but if working with Jin is going through the living keys is the best way in my opinion. Yeah, going to the living things is the best way. So, hello guys. Mario 2502, Hail King Paimon. In what way did you perform your first normal invocation of him? I honestly just called him with the chants and tell him to possess me. How you performed your first invocation of him, Danny?
Well, I guess I was fortunate that he came first without me calling him or invoking him. But later on, I didn't want to be formal and proper and everything, and please him, and so yeah. So actually, Dimitri has really excellent material for Paimon. He has some beautiful hymns and everything. And those are great. And they work really well, and I always got great results with those.
Yeah, yeah, like, but how experience went for you, Danny?
Um, I mean, the so I mean, I had manifestations when he first came, spontaneously. He brought familiars with him, and then when I called him formally, that's when he was giving me magical names in Arabic. And that was the first time I formally called him, so my results were great.
Yeah. So regarding like him giving magical names is like one of the most potent ways of work with him. Yeah. Sue Henry says amazing, thanks. Have his familiar or accompanying spirits ever given you trouble? The answer is no, it never fucking happened. Do you have any like weird, quirky experiences with his spirits, Danny?
Weird quirky. Are you talking about Solemn Sun's question?
Uh, yeah, Solemn Sun's question, yeah.
Yes. Have they given me trouble? No. They can, but they can be very startling and weird. And um, I don't know. Paimon, like his world is sort of reminds me of like a crazy old Disney movie, like Fantasia or something, but it's like a little bit twisted. So you'll see like one of his familiars that showed up was a two-headed cat and a loud talking dog.
Yeah, yeah, he has sometimes weird familiar with him. How can King Paimon help me get my money someone borrowed and doesn't intend to pay? So that's like personal question. So if you want an answer to personal question, just donate super chat and we will answer it. Uh, Hi everyone, dark blessings. Dark blessings, bro. Advice on approaching and connecting with King Paimon for the first time. Okay, so this is a general question. If you wanna connect to him for the first time, just train the raising of the sacred space really well, and then you kinda call him using the chants and hymns given on the channel. Okay, okay. The, how was your experience with Gul Jain Abdul Hassan? So my experience with Abdul Hassan is, he is really intense and powerful, a really reliable spirit. So yeah, Abdul Hassan is good. Abdul Hassan is good. He's kind of a little bit heavy and necromantic. He is not for everyone, but he is good. Do you guys ever play with beings in your dreams? Just in general. Yes, we do play with beings in our dreams. What's your experience with that, Danny? With beings in your dreams?
Do I play with them? Yes, they will. These beings will come in your dreams, and they will interact with you. Also, they will y- help you to. They will often take you into different realms um, of the astral, the lower worlds. Especially if you're talking about demonic entities, you're going to be um, getting guided tours of the lower realms.
Yeah, we play with them in dreams. It's usually like that. Lana actually asks, "Thank you, Dimitri. Was it after 7 months that you want to buy, that he wants me to buy his cereal and golden berries? Thank you so much." Yeah, that's pretty much what I got exactly. You remembered it well. Yeah, that's it. So, guys, ask more questions in the chat. I would greatly appreciate it. And also smash the like button. And yeah, so we can make this live stream interesting. What's your are you still using the number ending with yeah, are you still using the number ending with 797? Yes, I am still using that number. Is Abdul Hassan for beginners? Yes, Hassan Abdul Gul can be approached by beginners. That's not a problem. Yeah, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, he can be approached by beginners. Also, guys, like ask more questions and yeah.
And also, just so everyone knows, you can ask questions about other spirits. Paimon is great for, he knows a lot about what's going on out there. So you can ask about any spirit that you want. Um,
Okay.
we've summoned Paimon for this, just because he's a really close guide and um, ally of Dimitri's. So
Okay. Solemn Sun asks, When dedicating jewelry and what not to the king, what is good way to get and imbue it with his energies? You lay an object on the altar of his. There are multiple instructions on this channel how to create an altar. So you lay an object on the altar, you call Paimon, and then you anoint it with your own blood. And then you say, Paimon, by the power of Allah and by the power of Adar, I call you, Paimon, to infuse this with your energy. And I give you the blood I offered you tonight to infuse this object with your power. And then he will start infusing it, and the object will start to radiate. And that's one of the really powerful ways how you can imbue it with his power. Really simple.
You guys, I
This
just want to announce. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
is say, Danny.
So we have super chat on right now. So you guys, this is a big deal. This is our first big live stream with our super chat. So we really want you guys to get in deep with us, ask Paimon all kinds of crazy questions, and hit up the super chat because this is a great opportunity. Dimitri's top notch channeler. He's absolutely he's excellent. I get channelings from Dimitri. He doesn't fuck around with tarot cards or anything like that. He just directs. He just channels the spirit directly. He's excellent.
Yeah, I can do that. So, okay, let us go into all of the questions here. Okay. Do you have experience working with MacLeod Core? Any contest to share? I am speaking about the three overseeing archangels of the Shem Hamefurash. Yeah, I worked with the angels relatively often, and I have experience with MacLeod Core. But I called him once. I am not really a good fan of MacLeod Core, so I worked with him once. I honestly don't have a lot of experience in the guy. I just sent you a text on WhatsApp. So the thing is, Mario, the problem is if I open WhatsApp right now, it can stop the stream.
Yeah.
Because I am streaming on the phone, so I would like you, Mario, to just like type your question here. He Can Paimon give me any instructions on my path with merging with Lord Shiva? Through Yalayan, I seek to be his devotee. So technically, because this is a personal question, I would politely ask you to donate super chat. But just because I don't want to be like an asshole here in the stream, I think Turu Yalayan question can be answered without any channelings. So honestly, when you work with Ionist Yantras, just merge on a daily basis and give offerings to Lord Shiva in a way of vegetarian food and non-alcoholic beverages like sweet drinks, pretty much while you are merging, and that will greatly increase your results. That's really beneficial for you if you work with those energies. Okay, guys. So if you have some questions, some personal questions, just donate super chat and ask more questions in general and smash the like button. That will really be good. And what kind of offerings you give to Paimon, Danny? Can you talk more about your artwork you are making for the channel and everything, and how Paimon influences that?
Yeah. So Paimon, if you're an artist, Paimon is a really great spirit to work with. He loves poetry. He loves art. He has. So I've written some poetry in dedication to Paimon, which I hardly understood at the time how much he was actually basically writing the poetry through me. And it was a really beautiful, strange, surrealistic poem. Um, and yeah, I shared that with Dimitri, and the symbolism is encoded in the poem. As I was unconscious of it at the time, but the symbolism that was encoded in the poem was full of occult instruction and secrets.
Yeah, like, can you possibly read us the poem now on the stream?
Oh, let me see if I can find it. Hold on a second.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Lona Ottery donated 10. Okay, Lona, because you donated 10 bucks, like, just ask two questions. We will gladly answer them, because we don't want to be fucking motherfucking retards. We always reward people who donate. So, yeah. Uh, in what ways has King Paimon pushed you to evolve and overcome? So, me personally, he pushed me intellectually, opened my astral senses, and taught me painful magic. How he pushed you to overcome, Danny?
Oh, sorry, I was looking for the poem. Could you repeat that?
In what ways King Paimon pushed you to evolve and overcome? That's the question.
Um, by by showing me he really helped me by validating the fact that I was smart and that I had really great talents and skills, um, and just encouraging me and pushing me along. It was all really positive.
Okay. Bolton says, you look younger without a beard. Have you experienced strong winds inside your apartment house all through the water outside is not like that at all? Is it demonic signs? The answer is yes. Yeah, that's one of the typical signs, that oscillation of the pressure in the room. Lorna Attery said, I just wanted to say thank you, Lorna. We greatly appreciate you. Does King Paimon speak with an Arabic accent? How does his voice sound to you? So sometimes he speaks with a foreign accent. To me, he sounds like a Middle Eastern mystical voice of a man who cannot be like defined as young or old. That's kind of his voice to me. Alia asks nothing. He just donated 9.99. So Alia, you have right to ask two questions. We will gladly answer them. I have a question. Does any specific poetic entity want to work with me at the time? Okay. I am getting Alia King Person wants to work with you. And also Stolas. Those two entities. Person and Stolas. And you should offer them a black stone. So you should buy a black stone, a black obsidian crystal, and dedicate it to them. Summon them and dedicate it to them. And call them at February 13th together in a single ritual. Now here is that how ritual should look. You should call them together by the power of Sabaoth. So you should say, by the power of Sabaoth, I call you Purson and Stolas. You should repeat this chant in a sacred space over and over again. Then when they come, you should light two black candles and offer them black obsidian crystal and tell them to consecrate it. And after they consecrate it, burn good pile of sandalwood, you know, enough incense so the room is filled with it. And after you do that, keep that obsidian crystal for your magical work. Whenever you call those two spirits, they are interested in working with you. Okay, that's what I got. Does King Paimon have a favorite day or time for your occasion? From my experience, his favorite or day or time is noon and the day is Wednesday. But that's pretty much my personal experience. Will it take much time to develop astral senses without spirit's help? It depends, you know. Will it take much time? I advise working on it on a daily basis. But you need to understand that developing astral senses is a process, and it is really not something which is kind of which can be determined. It's a process and it's individual for everyone, but it usually takes about 6 months of daily practice to reach new level.
Hey,
6 months or 4 months.
Dimitri,
Yeah.
do you want me to read the poem?
Yeah, you can read the poem you
Okay,
dedicated to Paimon.
and then after I'm done, you can maybe translate the meanings that Paimon. You can translate the esoteric meaning. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's funny because the first word is part of your title, but I wrote this before we met. So anyway, Legion are the dolls hatched from desert ornaments, the bearers of perishable dolls. Graves of the ancient dolls compost in the Garden of Egypt, where nestled in the carved wood and woolen garments grow marriageable worms.
Yeah, so technically this poem is really interesting because technically this poem describes, if I'm not wrong, it kind of describes a bunch of dolls in the sand in Egypt, and around them you have like worms trying to eat them, right? So it's a really symbolic poem and it's really Paimonistic. So Paimon is associated with manipulation. So the dolls represent people he kind of works with. Really beautiful, really well painted dolls. Those are kind of people he works with. Egypt is one of the most.
Wait. What did you? Could you repeat what you just said?
So essentially, dolls and art are heavily associated with Paimon. So
Oh,
the dolls in this represent the people he works with, those really beautiful ornamented dolls. Egypt is one of the most powerful ancient civilizations Paimon influenced. And marriageable worms, the devourment by worms is symbol of magical initiation. So the symbolism of this song is literally if you allow Paimon to control your life and to arrange your life, he will initiate you and give you knowledge. That's like the point of the song. That's like the message of the song. And it's really like heavy, Paimonistic song, full of like his energy. And this is usually because he speaks in a cryptic way and you kind of have to crack the code. And it's really kind of beautiful poem, focusing on how he works with people in general and how he operates. So
yeah.
yeah, let me like read the questions. Uh, okay. Hello, dear friends. Logan Hellspine says. Hello, Logan. Hello, Alia. Thank you. He All you know, when I finally succeed to silence the mind for some minutes in invocation, tears come out of my eyes, and I really need to laugh. I am a beginner. That's normal. Farnati Kondo 13. That's completely normal, don't worry. And then DMG answers, Idongo 13, Vatai Kondo, you are releasing blocked energy currents within the body. It's normal. It's a form of healing and empowerment. Yes, I agree with that. It's completely normal. I would very much like to know which spirit would like to work with me. Thanks. So, because that's like a personal question which requires channeling, I would like you to donate super chat. So yeah, we will answer when you donate $5 super chat here for the stream. We will answer that question gladly. Hi Dimitri, you look very nice today. Thank you, Bianca. You look very nice too. Thank you a lot for coming today and supporting the channel. Farnati Komdu, thanks. Thank you too for following us, Farnati. Yeah, for personal channeling, hit up super chat. Yeah, I agree. And also smash the like button, because we have 29 viewers, 80 likes. If we have those 29 likes, we would really appreciate it, my guys. So yeah, ask more questions here in the chat so we can develop discussion and flower.
Yeah. And
If you,
Paimon
if
is
you,
here, man. We called him for this, you guys. Like, just have fun. Like, ask some crazy questions. Make something happen.
yeah, yeah. So can you tell us like some crazy stories of yours? Uh, Danny?
Um, I always have crazy stories. I mean, it's a constant onslaught, really. I don't know. I mean, like in the past couple of months, I mean, like when November and fall and winter started to roll in, I was visited by Persephone, um, and she came again, like unsummoned. She um she appeared as a beautiful blonde maiden in a cloak, and the wind was blowing, and there was wheat blowing in the wind. And then I was looking at her from the perspective of Hades, and I was hunting her, and I was hunting not just her but maidens. I was trying to look for the right maiden that when I touched them, they would transform. And so I found this young maiden, this girl basically, and I touched her. And as soon as I touched her, she started to discolor like like a person that a dead person. She started to her nose turned sort of red and then purple, and then um, she just started to die in front of me. And then I saw her in a cave in the underworld. It was a bright sunny day. She was, out in a field or something, and then we were in a cave and in the dark, and she just completely decomposed. Like she was just like completely undead. Like she lost all of her hair. She was gray. She was sunken in and skeletal. And then I was instructed that I needed to care for this bat. I needed to care for this sick bat. Um, I didn't actually know. I didn't really actually know the mythology of Persephone that well. I usually only look at mythology when spirits come to me and show me something, and I look up the symbols that they show me and stuff and the imagery. So yeah, so I looked it up, and I guess wheat is her symbol, and also bats are her symbol, and the whole thing with Hades and dragging her into the underworld. And then at the time that I had that vision, very quickly after that, there was a series of things, and yeah, it was definitely a harbinger of what was about to happen within a couple of days, and it was a very rough time. Um, Interestingly, at that time, Dimitri he was channeling some stuff about the underworld, and about how once you're truly in the underworld, there's no coming back. And so when we as witches visit what we recognize as the underworld, we're actually on the periphery of it. We're on sort of the borderlands of the underworld. We're not actually in it because you can't leave. And that really matched up with more things that Persephone came and told me, um, like at the exact same time that he was channeling that, because like the day before that, and I was absolutely in the midst of this horrible dark time and despair and everything. And I heard a spirit say pomegranate seeds, um, which that was just Persephone coming back, and explaining. Of course, I had to look it up again because I'm just like I'm so not a big I'm not a big researcher of this stuff, but once she ate the pomegranate seeds, she what once she ate the pomegranate seeds, she couldn't leave the underworld. That was what Hades gave her. So she could not. Once she ate those seeds, she could never escape the underworld. And so for me to get that message, and then for Dimitri to basically tell me the same thing that he channeled about how once you're in the underworld, you can't ever really leave. It was just like, it was a heavy revelation, and it's
Yeah,
like, Persephone, I think, is like sort of like, she's because of like Wicca and stuff, she's like just sort of seen as this like benevolent goddess and stuff. Not to say that she's not, but Persephone's energy is as dark and destructive as Abaddon's, I think,
yeah. So let's like dedicate to people's questions. Hi, did you ever hear about summoning Lucifer under the name Hillel? If yes, do you have any experiences with that? Yeah, I
Mhm,
do. Danny also summoned him under the name Hillel a bunch of times.
mhm.
So can you say a lot about your experience, Danny, with Lucifer's form as Hillel? Like how it works for you?
Yeah. So yeah, me and Dimitri had a really, really powerful evocation using basically the Greek and Hebrew and stuff like that. And yeah, he came through. It was a very, very, very potent manifestation when we called him with that. It works for sure. It works really great.
Yeah, yeah, it works really great and it kind of really empowers the experience. Does Paimon have preferred incense? Lona asks. In my opinion, his preferred incense is sandalwood. Uh, Ahmed Saidi, how can Alkai Paimon I wants to know. So, okay, this is something we have on the channel already. Just go to Jin King playlist, the Jin series playlist, and you will find a bunch of videos on Paimon. Wish I could like this twice, Bianca Samani says. Thank you, Bianca, for supporting the channel. I think I can. I wish I can clone you so you can watch this live stream 100 times because we need more viewers like you. You are really cool artist and also you're a really cool magician. Hail Paimon. King Paimon also has a deep connection with Lilith, which is why this video caught my eye because I thought perhaps this was just personal knowledge. No, it's not just personal knowledge. You are correct. He is actually connected with Lilith as a form of dark wisdom, as a form of dark knowledge. Because Lilith has aspect which is known as dark Shina, which literally means the dark wisdom. And Paimon is heavily connected to that aspect. Whom Allen donated $5 super chat. Thank you, Whom Allen, for the donation. And he asks, I am curious if Marbas would like to work with me. I tried for 2 years and or any other spirits. Thank you. I am like trying to get your answer now. Okay. So this is really interesting. Paimon is offering you a deal here. He is offering you a pact, essentially. So before you start working with Marbas, he advises you to make a pact with one of his spirits, with one of Paimon's spirits, which is known as Labal. And Labal will open your astral senses in return for 4 incense sticks and 7 weeks of daily work. So, if you want to call Labal, those are the instructions. Raise the sacred space using the black sun. Then, call Labal with the chant Labal Shaitan Arnai. Repeat the chant in a sacred space while burning incense over and over again. After about 1 hour and a half of repetition, you will feel some pressure in the room or shift. It will be the sign that the Labal is there. Then ask Labal to open your astral senses, and he will indeed influence your psychic abilities. Do it on a daily basis. for 7 weeks. And before you start doing it on a daily basis for 7 weeks, negotiate a pact with him. Once you call Labal in a sacred space, you are supposed to write your terms on the piece of paper. So you want development of psychic abilities and preparation for work with Marbas. That's what you want. So you write those terms on the piece of paper. Labal's terms are the following. Labal wants one incense stick burned every week, and he wants you to work with him daily, as I described. So indeed, you write your terms on the piece of paper, and you write Labal's terms on the piece of paper. And then you tell Labal to consecrate the paper. And Labal will put his energy into the paper. Now, you consecrate the paper this way for 3 nights in a row. And after the paper is consecrated, you write your name, you sign the paper literally, and you anoint your signature with your blood. And then you do what Labal requested. You work with him on a daily basis, as I said, and you essentially offer him one incense stick a week. And you work with him like that for 7 weeks, and then after that is clear, you proceed working with Marbas, because your astral senses will be open now. So this is answer to your question. Alan, I am curious if Marbas would like to work with me. Yeah, we already answered this. Thank you for your clarification of Lilith aspect of Dark Wisdom. Thank you too, Logan, for watching the channel. We would never be where we are without viewers like you. Diamond Doll donated tell Romanian currency. So yeah, she donated 10 Romanian currency. So thank you, Diamond. Ask your question. Yeah. Thank you for okay. Does Lilith have anything to say concerning me? Uh, yeah, she. Okay, like my channel. Okay, so the message for you is you need to learn to be predatory. You need to learn to be a predator. That's the main message here. And you need to understand the purpose of aggression. You need to be more aggressive. And Lilith advises to merge with your familiars even further and to get the third familiar, which is from her. Uh, and that familiar will teach you predatory masculinity, which you can use for your own benefit.
Yeah, like me.
Okay, thanks, Logan. Lona Ottery retracted the message. What was said, I don't know. I'm really sorry. Thanks so much. I owe you one. Uh, okay. Thank you, Ham Ellen. Just appreciation, no question. Yeah, thank you, Diamond Doll. Do you have any experience with working with a triangle of manifestation in King Paimon? Yes, I do. Triangle of manifestation is really powerful, and it amps the rituals like crazy. It's really good. It's really good.
Hey,
So yeah.
like, so I've been telling my stories of Paimon, but you have so many more stories. Like,
So yeah.
can you tell
Uh,
your stories about Paimon?
Okay, so people are donating 10 Romanian something. And I don't know how many it is, but guys, you still can ask some private questions because I don't want you to feel excluded. Kai, any messages for me from spirits? Truth Addict. Okay, let me go into and ask.
I love that we have Romanians up in here. Like,
Uh, okay, let me just channel a question for the people. Like, give me time. Okay, so Truth Addict, you should attune to the element of air and work on the mastery of your own mind. You should. So, what Paimon advises is a specific technique. So technically, you go into meditation and then you focus on thinking about something. For example, you think about making money, right? You want to make money, you think about making money. And then you start about visualizing you having money and making money, right? And once you visualize you having money and making money, then what you do then is you technically focus on uh, you concentrate on essentially stopping all of the thoughts in your head. And whenever you start to think again, you focus again on making money. And so you learn to like change every thought in your head over time on making money or whatever goal you have. So you learn to kind of control your thoughts. Uh, so now we will give kind of ritual for you to attune to the air. So this ritual is done by you being in the direction of the east. You turn to the direction of the east and you say the following. So you raise the sacred space first, right? And in the sacred space, you say, I call you Lucifer, Prince of the Air, to attune me to the powers of the air. And you say, Lucifer Angelos Luminos. And you use the chant over and over again. Lucifer Angelos Luminos. Lucifer Angelos Luminos. Lucifer Angelos Luminos. And then the energy of Lucifer will come. It will show up in a sacred space after maybe 40 minutes of repetition. Probably that's how much it will take for you. And then you say, O great spirit Lucifer, attune me to the powers of the air. And the offering you should give to him is a sandal with incense in large amounts. So this is essentially what you are required to do, and this is essentially how you should attune to the powers of the air. So you work with Lucifer. That's Paimon's recommendation. Okay. Does Lilith have any message for me? Okay, that's uh that's like a personal question. I will answer that question when you get a super chat. 10 Romanian is like 2 euros. Yeah. So I would ask Romanian guys who donated to like get some questions answered. Because like the reason why I will like answer Romanians is because Romania is like poorer country. So yeah, I
Yeah.
think we should give them. We should like give them. We should help them out because
Yeah.
Romania is fucking Romania. So why not help people?
Yeah. And
How?
we anyone in proximity to Transylvania is welcome.
Yeah, yeah. Does Lloyd have any message from me? Do Don Dean. So that's technically a personal question. So we would politely ask you for a super chat because like it's your specific personal question for you. It's not a general question. You
Okay.
ask for a personal message.
Okay, Dimitri. So tell a crazy ass Paimon story, man.
I don't know. I have a lot of them,
I know. Tell
but
tell the most
the
fucked up Paimon story you have.
I don't know. Like the craziest story I have with Paimon,
Yeah.
like the story people would like the most,
Hmm.
is honestly when I just started working with him.
Hmm.
I wanted to be possessed, and so I was sleeping near my little bro in the same room, and he possessed me.
Hmm.
And possession was going to be so strong, it was so strong that I started fucking exorcising him from my body. And I can see my body violently kind of moving a little bit, and I was trying, to speak weirdly. And then he left my body, and then in the same night he like semi-physically materialized and told me like you cannot approach us from the point of religious dogma. This is bullshit. You need to approach us like allies,
Yeah.
and you really need to like work with us with respect and don't do this exorcism shit. But he was like yelling in my ear. It was really dramatic experience. So he tried to possess me.
Yeah.
I didn't like it. Then he went out from my body. Then he yelled in my ear. Really crazy. But I need to elaborate that I was guilty here. I was full of shit because when you invoke spirit into your body, especially if you are in trance, especially if you are new, especially if you want intense experience and you say it, I want an intense experience. I am not a pussy. I have two balls. I am brave man. then they will give you exactly what you want, and it will be intense and it will not be pleasant. And people really get fucked over from the intensity, just like I did. And it's not spirit's problem when they give us exactly what we want. So it's like my mistake. It has nothing to do with the spirit. But yeah, it was definitely one of the strongest experiences we had. Okay. Does Lilith okay? How does a triangle work with King Paimon like a circle? I answered that question already, I think. For personal questions, please use Super Chat. Yeah. Very nice. Thank you. Through Felix said, what can Rakshasi Lankini do for magicians? Okay. So Rakshasi Lankini can bring you money. She can bring you wealth. She can remove you negative energy. She can initiate you into the underworld worlds. She can empower you so you can see spirits better. And the most important function of Lankini is to technically teach a Hindu sorcery through sexual magic. That's like her biggest thing. But Hindu guys recommend her for money like crazy. But I generally had some good experiences with her with money. But my best experiences with Lankini, honestly, were simply asking for knowledge and wisdom and shit of that nature. So yeah.
When you were talking about Paimon and Christianity and stuff and your programming and everything, so it's interesting. So like I wasn't raised religious at all. I was actually raised anti-religious. My mom was an extreme like secular liberal. So I was always taught that Christianity was bad. Um, but even then, when the demonic entities started to come on their own accord, they had messages that were very mocking of Christianity. Um, like one of the things they said to me was they said, salvation to the Pharaoh king. And then they made fun of Jesus and they said, Batman Jesus NFL, which is like in America, it's like the National Football League. And they're just like making fun of this like sort of American Christian egregore of Christianity. And they called it Batman Jesus NFL.
Okay. So, anonymous message. Hello, Dimitri. Hello, anonymous message. Duon Dean donated 50 Romanian crowns. Okay, so we will not be assholes here in this chat. I know people are poor in Romania, so the guy donated 10 euros. But you guys need to understand that 10 euros is like a lot of money in Romania because average salary is like 400 euros. So, because the guy is from Romania, we really need to give him a discount. We really need to appreciate him. So, Duon Dean, you have right for 3 questions instead of 2 because you are from Romania. We are trying to help you out. So, his first question was Lilith has a message for me, and let me go. So, Lilith's message for you is that you should work with Agrat Batmalat. So, essentially, how you should work with Agrat Batmalat. You should just train to raise the sacred space for about 11 days. So, for 11 days, just learn how to raise the sacred space. Then, you should essentially, in a sacred space, for about 3 weeks after you learn how to raise it, work with Agrat Batmalat. The chant you should use to call Agrat Batmalat is Agrat etevisa traet. So you essentially raise the sacred space. Let me repeat it once again. And then you, in the sacred space, repeat the chant Agrat etevisa traet while burning the incense. In about usually an hour of chanting, the atmosphere in the room will start to shift, which will be the sign of the spirit's presence. When that happens, offer Agrat Batmalat a blue candle, and you should offer her 4 blue candles a week. And in the days you are not offering her candles, offer her more incense. let about 2 incense sticks to be average, and in the days you are not offering candles, offer 4 sticks instead of two as an offering when you are cooling her. And you work with Agrat for about 3 or 4 weeks after you learn to raise the space for 3 weeks. And after you finished your Agrat working, then essentially start working with Azazel. And he is the spirit you should work with for the next 3 years. So first you learn to raise the sacred space for 3 weeks, then you work with Agrat for 4 weeks, and then you work with Azazel for the next 3 years. And Azazel is actually the spirit who will be fundamental in your development. I do have a question. So that's for Damondine. And Damondine, if you have more questions, ask, bro. We are there for you. I do have a question. Can one make a pact to become a spirit specifically Jinn for the purpose of this video? Uh, okay. So that's a question which is kind of personal, man, because that's kind of what you want to do. But the thing is, the spirit who is dark and by far the most knowledgeable in those matters and not necessarily commonly known for what you are trying to do is the Genic King Maimon, the Genic King of Saturn, Logal Hellspine. So, because this is a Paimonian stream, uh, uh, I will give you like how to call Maimon for your local Hellspine without necessarily requiring a donation. And this is kind of gift to the audience, this Maimonic ritual, right? So essentially, you raise the sacred space, preferably with the black sun, and you use the chant Haya Malik Maimun Haya Jin. Haya Malik Maimun Haya Jin. So this is the chant to call a Genic king Maimun. And you use this chant, and the presence of Maimun will kind of be strong because Maimun is fierce. Maimun is called in the hour of Saturn, night hour, during Saturday. That's ideal time to call the demonic king Maimun. And indeed, what needs to be done is you offer Maimun black candles. Now, Maimun is the one who rules the pacts specifically for the genic races. So that's the answer for you, Logan Hellspine. Lilith has a message for me. Yeah, I already answered that. Have you ever seen King Paimon appear before you clearly like an apparition? Yeah, I did. Ask Lilith, please, what is my mission? Okay, I will.
Hold on. So the Paimon thing. So Paimon, when he comes in his true form, he appears as a man on fire, like what you would see in a movie stunt or something, like literally just like a male figure completely in flames, right?
Okay, okay. So there is something I have to elaborate here in the comments, and then I will answer to your remark, Danny. Logan Healthpine says Mammon. Mammon and Maimon are not the same. That's my experience. Maimon is specifically connected to Ifrits and Jinns, while Mammon is a servant of Lilith attributed to Gamaliel. Similarity in names doesn't imply necessarily identical identity of the spirits.
Is my moon
It,
to a Maimon?
Maimon and a Maimon are kind of connected, but I
Okay.
think Mammon and Maimon are not. So technically,
Yeah.
my advice is, you call Paimon first, and you tell him that you want to reach CD Maimon, the Genic King of Saturn, and you use the ritual I list here
A Maimon is
in
a
the
very
stream.
interesting spirit. I haven't um encountered it as Maymoon, but I have encountered a Maimon.
I think that Maimon and a Maimon are like aspects of different spirit, but aspects of the same spirit, but they are kind of identical and also separate. it's like Lucifer Satan thing. Core is the same, but practical utility is completely different.
Hmm.
That's how I kind of see it. I consider Arabic Jinni King Maimun to be practically separate from a Maimon and Mammon. I think that similarity in names doesn't necessarily imply identical essence, and my experience with those three names is quite different.
Okay.
And I
Yeah.
cannot
I mean, I never
necessarily
try.
agree that it's the
I
same.
never seek them out. They just like show up. So I'm pretty lazy when it comes to research. But yeah.
Yeah, I agree with Alpha's and Omega remark here that he says, even I am not religious. My experience of the demonic thus far is they didn't have an issue with Christianity, rather, they took issue with the way it is understood. Thank you, my friend. Logal Handspine said, I 100% agree with your remark, Alpha and Omega. Duedon Dean donated 25 Romanian crowns and said thanks, bro. So Duedon Dean, you can ask freely some more questions, but we didn't answer his like question, which is what is his mission. He asked that question and we need to channel it. We need to get it through from Lilith specifically. And it will take me 2 or 3 minutes to channel and a little bit of chanting and a little bit of focus. So I ask you guys to be patient because it's a really important question from the guy and he is from Romania. So what he is giving is much more from his point of view and from his capabilities than other people. So I will really get out of my way to do the best I can. So your purpose, Duedondane, is to become one with the current of Samael. And you should work with the archangels Samael, Gabriel, and Cassiel, those three spirits. And those three spirits will lead you to your purpose on the angelic side, while Agrat will guide you to your purpose, and Azazel will guide you to your purpose on the demonic side. So those five spirits. And your purpose will be essentially to help people understand the world around them and their role. And the way you do that will not necessarily be through teaching or through exposing yourself, but through leading by example. You should build yourself to a person who will help other people understand the world, not by writing, but by example. And you should also build up your physical health really, really strongly in order to survive those energetic hits of working with those five spirits at the same time.
That's a really beautiful channeling. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I've worked with well Samael a little bit. When he came again, not through summoning, he just came. Um, he I don't know. He took the form of a cobra, and then I became a cobra, and I was just like completely hypnotized, and it was a very lustful. He does have a very strong demonic side to him, but he also has his angelic side. He's really interesting. Um, but yeah, so immediately after I was sort of possessed by this like cobra. I had this insatiable craving for steak and grapes, and to offer it to him. So I bought like 3 pounds of grapes and steak, and I made it for him, and then I binged on it, and I got the worst food poisoning I've ever had in my life, and yeah, that is that's part of Samael's initiation is poisoning.
Okay, so unknown message says thank you. Thus, King Paimon has a message for me. Okay, if you want a personal question, that requires super chat, bro. Uh, Random, but how do you guys ground the best? I ground the best by simply exercising, physical training, physical exercise. Because I know Paimon is Phaeton, okay? Paimon and Iblis are related, but they are not necessarily the same personality. However, there is a connection between them, right? Right. So, Kant last message. I will go outside and still feel like I am flying away. Ha ha ha. Hail Agrad Batmala. Cool. Why does why does Odin look for me? Okay, I will answer that question. Odin wants to teach you to go into deeper states of consciousness. And also, Odin wants to teach you to merge material arts and physical training with your spiritual endeavors. Those are two things Odin wants to teach you, and this is what he wants to impose on you and guide you through. I have a cobra tattoo. That is cool that you have a cobra tattoo. Can you talk about the spiritual hygiene you practice while working with spirits like King Paimon and his familiars? So, there is one method of spiritual hygiene you can use while working with King Paimon and his familiars, which is you call one of the spirits which is dark and destructive, and you just tell them to remove your negative energy from you and take it as an offering to them. I personally use Kali, and Kali is like really good spirit for this, but you can use any dark spirit for this. So you just call one of the dark spirits and you tell them to devour your negative energy. Okay, Danny is expert at cleansing. He is much better at cleansing than I am. So can you, Danny, talk about cleansing? Because we have a question about cleansing by soul and sun.
Okay. Let's see. Can you talk about the spiritual hygiene and practice while working with spirits? Like, okay. So yeah. So like Dimitri went through a period where he was trying to generate a lot of wealth really quickly, and in order to do that, he was doing a lot of dark workings. And also there was a long period in his practice where he was really slowly dedicating himself to dark workings. Like fully immersing himself and taking on dark workings, especially through the sort of left hand path um, tantric stuff that he was doing. It was like all the dark energy, better, just more and more and more dark energy, dark, 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 dark. So when I first met Dimitri, I got a message from Methuselah about him. And in that vision, is it okay if I tell the story?
But like, I would like you to tell people how to cleanse themselves. This is more
Okay.
like our personal story. Guy wants
Well,
to know how to cleanse himself.
I just wanted to, since you know that I know how to do that, right? Because like,
But can you explain people how to practically do that? How to practically cleanse?
yeah,
How to? Yeah, just tell them, ritual for cleansing. What to do, A to Z.
okay. So what's going to be good for cleansing, and not only good for cleansing, but for activating your spiritual familiars and guides, is to um, use some kind of like medium, like smoky medium, like incense. I like to use white sage for this, and you call um, the most holy or sacred aspects of all of the elements from the earth up until uh, the moon and the sun and the stars, and sort of like the creator. It's kind of a Native American thing. So you light your incense or your sage or whatever, and then you say like something like, I call the most holy earth, I call the most holy air, I call the most holy fire, I call the most holy water, I call the most holy sun, I call the most holy moon, I call the most holy stars, I call the most holy planets, I call the most holy universe, I call the most holy creation. And when you do that, you draw in all the spirits that are your familiars, that are part of those elements from top to bottom. And then they will come, and you say, I cleanse me of all negative energy, entities, emotions, cleanse my body, cleanse my energy body, cleanse my soul of all harmful, malevolent, negative energies, entities, and emotions, by the power of most holy earth, by the power of most holy air, by the, from top to bottom. And you just do that until your energy is completely cleansed. And then if you really want to get even more cleansed, you can incorporate that with a bath. So you have your incense or your smoke going, and then when you call all of these holy aspects of the elements, you take like some sea salt, and you ask them to bless and consecrate the sea salt, and then you throw that sea salt into the bath water, and then you continue your repetition of your request of your prayers. That's a really solid way to do that. And when you do it that way, you're not narrowing it down to a particular spirit, especially if you don't know who your familiars are, like your elemental familiars and stuff. So, but it will draw them in that way without you having to even know who or what they are. It'll just like bring the basically the highest vibration of all those elements that as they relate to you, and it's the most powerful way to cleanse and protect yourself.
Okay, so let's go to the next question. Is King Paimon secretive about some knowledge? Yes, he is. He's really secretive. There are some things you're not allowed to reveal to other people. Uh, Mr. Cheetos says, "Can I send on PayPal and ask?" You can send on PayPal or internet
Super
or
chat.
super chat.
Yeah, we have super.
It's your choice. Yeah, it's your choice. Yeah. Thank you, bro, for answering. Bless you. Thank you too for being supporter of the channel. I work with Sutek. Do you think he would work similarly to Kalima in the way she helps with energies? Um, Probably, yeah. Yeah. That's decent. That's cool. Greetings from the East Coast. Hello, Eric. So you are like free guys to ask more questions so we can develop discussion a little bit more. And yeah, just we are interested to know what you want to know. So in the meantime, Danny, like, can you explain how Paimon influences your art? Do I need to create an altar for Azrael? I mean, if you feel called to the spirit, why not? Much love to you, Dimitri from Australia. Much love to you too, Rizak. What happens if you tell secret information? Spirits pretty much don't trust you, and your life can turn into a shithole. Duedon Rondin donated 25 Romanian dollars. 25 Romanian. Okay, Duedon, you're free to ask more questions. We are really. That Lilith considers me a son. Okay, this is a question which actually doesn't require channeling. So actually, when you create with the spirits, a bond, like you work with them and you dedicate to them and you operate with them on a daily basis, you symbolically become an extension of that entity. You merge with that entity and you are kind of their extension. And in that way, you are symbolically their child. You are symbolically one with them. You are symbolically unified. And so that is indeed kind of mother and son relationship, but not rich literally. It's more of an expression of spiritual devotion than anything else, really. So see it as a symbolic manifestation of your work with Lilith. Don't think that you are a literal child, but more you work with Lilith, more you become an extension of her, and more your things manifest in life, but you also get higher spiritual perspective and experience. And that's kind of a point of a thing. And that's kind of point of a thing, honestly. Okay.
Tanisha,
So what are your other questions, guys? Like just ask some questions in the chat. We would
Tanisha,
be really we would be really glad to answer that.
can you hear me?
More. Yeah, I hear you. What?
Can you talk about, so since I've done cleansings for you, can you explain, so the method I explained, can you explain that, how that works from your experience?
So I will kind of explain it short, guys, because we had a really elaborate explanation of those cleansings before. So I don't want to talk about the same thing for like hour in this channeling. But here is the thing. So she calls for elements in
No,
all
no, 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 no.
four
I'm
cardinal
asking,
directions.
that's not, I'm not asking you to explain the instructions. I'm asking you to explain the effects of it from your experience, since I've done those cleansings on you.
Okay, my experience is I simply feel lifted and I feel empowered and I feel less burdened and stressed. It's really good. It's really good relief, and it really gives you the strength to deal naturally with your stuff, with your energy. It kind of helps out. It's like somebody pulling out an anxiety away from you and helping you out. How it kind of feels, and you feel a lot of like blue fey natural energy entering your system and empowering you. It's like an injection of energy, a boost.
Yeah,
Is it true
it
that the
pulls on
fantasy
the
like
fae,
you?
it pulls on the fae and the dragon energies, but also it also pulls on the celestial energies. So, but what was your first reaction the first few times I did it on you?
I'm burning, I was coughing, I was even suffocating because I purged all of the negative energy from myself and I had a lot of it.
You
It
were
wasn't a pleasant reaction.
you were dry heaving, yeah. He was, yeah. You were dry heaving.
Yeah. Is it true that if an entity likes you, that the entity will willingly attack your enemies? That is true. Okay, okay. Sorry, I didn't knew. Yes, symbolic, right? I wanted to know. So, Damondine, because of your donations, you have a right for one more question. So, ask it, please. What do you guys think of Mr. Alistair Crowley? I think he was a good occultist and a pioneer, but he was a far from a perfect individual. What is your opinion using circles, particularly Solomonic, in working with spirits? Does King Paimon find it offensive? Uh, does he find using Solomonic text invocations offensive? Okay, I will answer this question really controversially. How you call them doesn't matter. What matters is how you treat them after they come. So if you treat them well after they come, they don't give a fuck what kind of a text you use, as long as it is magically effective. So yes, you can use Solomonic methods and treat spirits respectfully later, and they will not be angry. That's my personal experience, and I am 100% behind this. I asked spirits multiple times, and they confirmed. The reason why spirits don't like when we use Solomonic text is not because of the text itself, is because people who use Solomonic text have a tendency to treat spirits like trash, but it has nothing to do with the text. You can use Solomonic text, and when the spirit appear, you treat it fine, and they really like it, and they don't give a fuck what kind of a text you use. That's what spirits told me, and what I experienced as well. Solemn Sun. Okay. 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 So let me. Okay, guys. Okay. Hi, Dimitri. I sent €5 through the PayPal Cosmic M. As you can verify, I wish to ask Lith what she proposes to do overload towards my cosmic mastership and advancements. Okay, let me chat for a few minutes to answer that question. She advises really clearly for you to attune to the energies of Venus, learn to control your emotion, and learn to turn your emotions into rage, which will fuel you with strength. So, that emotion mastery should be directed towards turning your other emotions into rage, and Venus will help with that. I don't know why she says Venus here, but she is really clear. You need to attune to Venus, and you also need to learn to be angry at will in order to be more productive. Those two things. Now, here is the ritual. So, in the hour of Venus on Friday, you light two orange candles, and in the sacred space, you say, Lilith Atavata Enati, Ataurni Lilith Vene, Lilith Atavata Enati, Atauti Lilith Verne. That's the chant. You repeat this chant until Lilith comes. And when she comes, you say, I call you Lilith, the Empress of the Night Side, to attune me to the dark side of Venus. And then she will do exactly that. The offering you should give will controversially be usually your own sexual fluids. I am sorry to say this, some of the watchers of the stream won't like, but that's what I'm getting. And once you give that offering, she will attune you to the dark side of Venus even more. You should perform this ritual thrice for 3 Fridays in a row, so for 3 weeks. And after that, you will see the effects. That is what I got. Okay. What would be some reason an entity would like you? Uh, you simply resonate with the spirit. That's the nature of the thing. You resonate with the spirit more. Why do dark entities only like to stay in specific parts of the house, like a specific corner of the basement? Because they correspond to corners and crossroads and caves and things like that. It corresponds to them. There are so many people today, more than last time. I agree. In what ways did you guys keep up with comments and routines in your relationship with King Paimon? I guess what is due diligence in his eyes. Yeah, we invested a really hard effort in this work with Paimon. We take it seriously. Epic, thank you. Multi-digital coder, thank you too. That's why this stream is here. What would you say that invoking Hillel versus Lucifer calls in a different aspect of him, similar as invoking Lucifer's solar aspect? What would you say on this, Danny?
Sorry, what? What would
Read
you
last
say that
question.
invoking Hillel versus Lucifer calls in different aspect of him? Um, yeah. It really depends on, I guess, what your intention is. I think that he will he will come in whatever aspect he wants to come. Um, but if you really just want to invoke his solar aspect, I'm sure that he would respect that. What do you think, Dimitri?
Yeah, there is a significant difference between the two. Hillel is Venusian aspect. It corresponds to passion, love, emotion, and war. Solar aspect is more life-giving and nurturing. So you use Venusian aspects if you want to learn sex, magic, and emotional control, and erotic mysteries of Lucifer, and warlike mysteries of Lucifer. You use Sun if you want empowerment of the soul, monetary prosperity, and divine mystery. So those two aspects of Lucifer are really distinct from each other. Okay, we got some PayPal donations. I need to see here who donated what, because like this is really important. Uh, I didn't say something. Actually, we answered everything. I see it now. So yeah, we answered everything. We accommodated everyone. Okay, guys, you're free to ask more questions, and we are closing this live stream soon because we are almost 2 hours live. Do you have any parasites attached to you? Then you do.
I hope
No, you just
not.
no, you just have issues with negative energy. Don't panic, dude. You don't have
What?
any parasite.
I'm not panicking.
Just I am answering somebody's question. Uh, do it on Dean. You don't have issues with
Oh,
negative energy, with negative parasites. You just have negative energy in your system. Exercise a little bit, train a little bit, do the cleansings on a daily basis, and things will be better. Don't worry. Hi guys, thank you for doing this. Thank you too, Mr. C. Uh, is it common to get a hangover the morning after you call a spirit? I got really in and hungover after I called Lucifer and Satan, but they really transformed energy a few days after. This is completely normal, Mr. C, especially if you're a beginner. 100% normal, don't worry. How does King Paimon, how is King Paimon different from Gremory? A lot. The only similarity between them is they are in the same book and they are all darker spirits. Really different, cover completely different areas of the human endeavors, completely different energy, and they don't have a lot in common, really. So the question is rather what is their similarity than what is the difference between them, because they are really different. It's like saying, what is the difference between horse and a raven? Well, the only similarity is they are both animals. Horse and raven are both animals. Paimon and Gremory are both demons, and this is where similarity ends. They are really completely different. Okay. Thank you guys for all of this info. Deep appreciation from California. Deep appreciation from France and Seattle to you guys. I noticed that they look really similarly. The only similarity is they both ride camels. They are just like. Okay, Dudi Ondine asked again. Uh, Do I have any parasites or entity attached on me? No, you just have negative energy on the system. Uh, okay, let me read something. So, Danny, what do you think?
that's not what I said.
Like, say what you think.
I want you to talk to me like a normal person and not a robot.
But like, I am answering questions to people. Like, there are like a lot of questions. People are typing the chat.
That's great.
So, what you think about like working with like spirits in general? What's your like experience with that, Danny?
What's your experience working with spirits in general with me?
So my experience is you are a lot into voodoo, so that's kind of difficult for me to accommodate. I always get overloaded with those voodoo energies. I have a really hard time accommodating because it's completely alien to me, and it always hits me like a truck. And it's really interesting how it doesn't matter how experienced you are. Once you experience a new pantheon, you are like a kid. You are like a baby, and you know fucking nothing. And that really humbles me, and it motivates me to learn and grow. And that's my most profound experience when I work with you.
Hello? Are you there? I can't hear you. I hope your fucking phone didn't die. I'm gonna see if this motherfucker's phone is dead. Hold on a sec, you guys.